We are back yet again today on the front page of Twitch. Let's freaking go. Race number 9 for the preliminary races for the Fall Symphony of the Night Randomizer Tournament. Let's go, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and let these players get started, give them their countdown. We got a 6-way race here. We have in the top left, Crazy Four Blades. Next to him, Alex. Below him, Durdrak. To the right of Durdrak, we have Ren. We have Classic Advent in the bottom left and Sestrin in the bottom right. This is a Symphony of the Night randomizer with items, relics, item drops, all those things randomized into different locations. The other thing that's randomized is these players' starting location. It is guaranteed that they're going to start in the second castle, but it seems like here they're starting in the reverse Alrox's quarters, right next to Alrox, who is a boss that is going to be required for this preset. This randomizer preset has these players required to kill every boss in the game, as well as find specific Vlad relics, the 5 pieces of Vlad. The way these players find these 5 pieces of Vlad is based off of familiar cards. Once you find a familiar card, it will give you a hint as to which enemy drops that Vlad relic. And then from there, you have to go kill that enemy, it'll drop the Vlad relic, and you're good to go. If you're confused at any point about any of the presets, ! plus the name of the preset will explain it. I'm excited to see how these players play. Another thing that's integral to this randomizer is items are guaranteed to drop from enemies, so no random luck scenarios should plague these players, hopefully, where it's like, oh, you got a lucky drop from this enemy, therefore you won because of it. And we're already seeing a very wide range of different routes. We see Classic Advent here in the bottom left-hand corner, opts to use the library card to warp back to the first castle, has a thrust sword in his inventory and says, you know what, that's good enough to make some progress. I want to get out of the second castle as soon as possible. Other players are opting to kill some of the enemies, try and get some level ups early on since these are high-level enemies. Odds of them dropping items as well could be very nice. The other thing that's important about this preset is all the warps are open for exploration purposes. So Ren, for example, opts to go straight to a warp instead, uses that warp to go to the castle keep here inside the second castle, and wants to explore this way instead. And it looks like Ren here in the bottom middle wants to check out the boss fight here. Let me get my big ol' cursor for you guys. Oh, here it is. So we got Ren here in the middle, working on this boss fight. This boss fight, I imagine, is going to be a little bit tough for him. Oh, gets slammed against the wall for 7 damage. Okay, his defense seems decent. Crouches in the corner to avoid the extra damage. And it is enough damage there to kill Darkwing Bat. That's already a lot of levels under the belt. And he's going to get the first relic out of any of these players here. First potential relic location. And it is Force of Echo, unfortunately. Not a very useful relic. But that is one of the required bosses down. And we see next to him, Durdrak here in the middle left. Also killing their first boss. Let's see what Durdrak finds here. I imagine he is the only one doing this boss fight because it does require a pretty technical skip to get in here and gets rewarded with the Power of Mist. On its own, not a very powerful relic, ironically enough. And, ooh, we see our first death of the match. This is pretty common here. Crazy Four Blades, unfortunately, going out to a Black Panther. Very high damaging enemy there. And he's going to have to start over. But thankfully, the start process to these seeds is pretty quick. So it's not too big of a deal. And he says, you know what? Screw this noise. I'm going to use my library card. I respect it. And you know why? Because I just noticed in the bottom left-hand corner, the Form of Mist was just found by Classic Advent. That is going to allow for some progress as well. It looks like Advent also found Wolf and Power of Wolf somewhere here in the first castle. So differences in routing already coming through. This is a pretty open preset. You have open warps. You have different movement options available to you. A lot of routing decisions could be made. And it looks like, honestly, I'm liking Advent's decision of early first castle. Finds some progression items, finds some Vlad, not Vlad relics yet, but also finds the Masamune, a very powerful katana. It lowers your defense, so you got to be careful not to take too much damage, but you're going to be killing things very, very quickly. You'll love to see it. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. If you are watching this on YouTube later, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please, it helps me out a lot. I would greatly appreciate it. If you've been enjoying the tournament action so far, it's a free way to support your boy, helping with the algorithm, get more people's eyes on the beautiful tournament action for Symphony of the Night Randomizer. My favorite way to play the game. And you want to know why? It's because stuff like this happens. Christogrim dropped for Ren, the strongest weapon in the game, available, what, 4 minutes into the game? And Soul of Bat found too! The strongest relic and the strongest weapon back to back. And just like that, Ren has a pretty decent advantage finding those 2 relics back to back like that. It seems like the first castle was kind of the play here. These other players are going to have to find a way to catch up. Durdrak does find a library card drop from that boss. That is one way to help catch up. Ren also finds a library card.
It's fine. I'm going to save the game a lot.
Thank you very much, Sega Jam, for the Prime sub. Primers indeed rise up. Don't forget to use that Prime sub on cooldown on whatever streamer you like. It could be me.
Make them your slaves.
And MT, front page on my 5-year subiversary, Twitch did this for me. It is true. It is very true. Twitch did this specifically for you. Okay, we see Sestrin here. Also made it to Castle Keep, which means Sestrin is going to be picking up that Soul of Bat soon, hopefully. Classic Advent decides to use the warp system to just explore around the first castle without checking out the Castle Keep quite yet. We'll see how that goes. Crazy Four Blades also going to the Castle Keep. The only people who have yet to enter that Castle Keep in the first castle now are Alex and Durdrak and Classic Advent. And Durdrak is relatively close. I imagine Durdrak is going to be going to the Castle Keep from the second castle back to the first castle the intended way. We also see Crazy Four Blades also picking up a Chrysogrim here in the top left-hand corner. Finds another library card as well. I'm liking the seed a lot. The seed seems pretty open. It seems like there's a lot of options available for these players. These Rampage seeds tend to take a while because not only do you have to kill all of the bosses in the game in order to beat the game, you're also going to be doing a lot of exploration back and forth to different zones once you find the required familiar cards. Because you'll find a familiar card that says this gives you the Eye of Vlad, and it'll be an enemy that's on the other side of the castle. So there's usually just a lot more traversal in general in these types of presets, which usually means you want to have good movement options. So the fact that most of these players are finding good movement options early enough is pretty nice. Even Classic Advent, who didn't find Soul of Bat yet, still has the Wolf combo, the Power of Wolf plus Wolf Transformation, and that's pretty decent as far as exploration goes. Oh, I'm just noticing Classic Advent also has the Leap Stone as well, which is it gives you the ability to double jump. So lots of potential movement options available. All right, let's see what Durdrak decides to do. This is kind of his chance to either decide go first castle or stay in the second castle. Durdrak's, I think, one of the last people to leave the second castle, the starting zone here. And I'm very curious to see how Durdrak handles this. I imagine he's probably going back to Castle Keep right now. Oh, maybe not. Okay, Durdrak says, you know what? I'm already in the second castle. I'm going to stay here. It's an interesting decision. We'll see how it pans out. Seems like everybody else on the other side, however, is enjoying access to the different Vlad relics. Or not Vlad relics, but like movement options. But speaking of options, I'm now noticing the first familiar card has been found. Both Sestrin and Ren have the back card, as well as Crazy Four Blades. So back card was available. I'm not sure which enemy it's pointing to, but we're going to find out soon enough, I imagine. 6 screens is actually what my ADHD brain needs right now. I agree. More screens. We yearn for more screens. You think it's Venus Weed? That makes sense. Thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciate that. RJ for the 39 months. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to turn those alerts down. They're a little loud for me. Not enough screens? I mean, you know what I could do for you guys? Do you want more screens? I'll give you more screens. Here you go. There you go. Now it's only screens. No, please! Ah! It's fine. Cursor size bigger. Now you're talking. We like to have fun around here. All right, Crazy Four Blades in the top left-hand corner here. Finishes up Grand Falloon. I think he might be the first to do that outside of Classic Advent. I think Classic Advent has done that as well. So Lawyer Nobaka, thank you very much for the Prime sub. And Lizard Sphere, welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good one. So far, so good. I think looking at everybody's routes, it's a little unfortunate Durdrak decided to stay in the second castle without too much opportunities for additional movement. And the other person who I think is a little unfortunate in their routing decision is Classic Advent. First into the second castle, but opts to do a bit of warping around. Oh, Durdrak hears me. Just kidding. He actually does not have the stream open, but does decide, you know what, it's first castle time. Uses the library card. And Renan does find that Eye of Vlad. It was behind the Venus Weed. That was a good call from chat earlier. So Ren with the first Vlad relic down. You do need to find all 5 of those to beat the game. I'll try and do my best to point out important things that happen in the seed. For example, Classic Advent gets into the Succubus boss fight area without the required relics by doing some double jump reset technology. It's an advanced technique where if you untransform next to a ceiling, it allows you to double jump again infinitely against ceilings. So he used that to grab a couple extra double jumps, move across the gap, and is now fighting Succubus early. Granted, if he had that Soul of Bat, it wouldn't be an issue. But, you know, to each their own. I'm looking on Ren's tracker, and I don't see... It looks like Ren forgot to do Succubus on his tracker. I'm not sure if his tracker is just glitched or something, but it's not showcasing. So either his route hasn't had him go that direction yet, or he forgot to do it for some reason. We'll see how that works out. Okay, Classic Advent finds Gravity Boots at Succubus. Yeah, anybody who has Gravity Boots has done Succubus. So none of these players have fought Succubus yet. But now Advent is in the library and is going to be able to full clear the library because he has Form of Mist. Very, very powerful route so far. Doesn't have access to Soul of Bat, but still. Also finds the Ring card, which is Flying Zombie. So Classic Advent finds another familiar card. It says the Flying Zombie is the enemy that drops the Ring of Vlad. So that's going to be back in the second castle. So that is one of the reasons to maybe consider going to the first castle early, is because you don't want to have to backtrack through second castle locations once you find the familiar cards that you need. Have I explained complexity for the new folks? You don't really need to worry about complexity for the most part. The best way to describe it is if you find a location that's locked by other locations is usually a good place to go. Classic Advent finds the Ring of Varda, by the way, in the Soul of Bat location. This is a randomizer after all, so the items and relics that you find do be randomized. We'll see if Durdrak finds that Chrysogrim or not. Durdrak getting a little unlucky with those drops. Finds Dark Shield, but no Chrysogrim, sadly.
I'm bad at the game!
Chag and Ho, thank you very much for the 7 months. Is this a SotN speedrun competition? Yes, it is. These players are all playing a randomized seed using the Symphony of the Night randomizer, where items, relics, boss rewards are all randomized. So these players don't know where the items are, but they have to figure it out and go as fast as possible while doing so. We have a 6-way race right now. The placements in this race will determine their points for the final bracket that's going to be starting later today, where we're going to have 1v1 matches later today, potentially. Yeah, happy to answer any questions for any new folks who are stumbling in to the Symphony of the Night randomizer tournament. Yeah, everybody has decided to take completely different routes, which is one of the things that I wanted out of this tournament in the first place. Is I felt as if route decision making was getting a little too stale, so that's why I decided to change up some of the rules for this season of the randomizer tournament. I'm trying to keep track of at least who I think is on the best route right now. It's hard to say. Everybody's doing relatively well. I think Ren has a pretty strong route. If you want to look here in the middle right-hand side, Renan Troll seems to be doing pretty good for himself. Has the Crystogram, has multiple library cards, already has killed a handful of bosses, is making good progress. Doesn't have Form of Mist yet, but we'll see how that works out. The person who I think is probably in the most unfortunate situation given their routing decisions, like I don't think Classic Advent made any mistakes necessarily, but because he is waiting for quite a while before checking the Castle Keep, he is just missing out on Soul of Bat, and Soul of Bat just gives you access to so many fast movement options, specifically wing smashing and like momentum preservation when transforming into Bat, so... But in the meantime, I mean, Classic Advent is making progress and has been doing a solid job of it. The seeds are generated right before the run starts. The Symphony of the Night Randomizer is a very robust program where it will generate seeds in real time, and it is so well understood and tested that we can be confident that the randomizer seeds will be fine. We don't need to like prepare them ahead of time or test them ahead of time. Cursor gets 1.04 times bigger every time it comes out. It's true. Yeah, this particular preset is called Rampage. The way that it works is the players are going to be required to kill every boss in the game, as well as find the familiar cards. In the normal game, these will summon little familiars that fight alongside you and help you out along the run. Unfortunately, in speedruns, the familiar cards are pretty much useless, outside of like some glitched runs that allow that some glitches come up with those familiar cards. So instead of having them be completely useless, the Rampage preset instead has those familiar cards unlock the ability for Vlad relics, the required relics to beat the game. Those Vlad relics will now become available once you pick up the familiar card associated with that Vlad relic. So they've been changed in this preset to, instead of being like the sword card, it's now the rib card. So it gives you the rib of Vlad, or it tells you where the rib of Vlad will be based off of which enemy is going to drop it. This one is probably the most complicated randomizer preset that we have for this tournament. So if you can watch this and enjoy what's going on, the next ones will be even easier to keep track of. But yeah, looking at everybody's progression so far, I can't help but think Ren has a decent setup right now. Already has one of the rings, the gold ring, available. I know he has some library cards. He has Bat, he has Gravity Boots, he has Mist. He has 2 familiar cards, 1 Vlad relic already in his inventory. It looks like Ren just has a very strong setup for the rest of the first castle, at least. So we'll see how that progression transitions into the rest of the game. Hello, music? Uh-oh. The website's down. They hate me. There it is. We're so back. This is a tough one to watch on mobile. Yeah, unfortunately, having 6 screens to watch and all on a mobile screen. I understand. Here, just grab a magnifying glass and hold it up to your phone and then move it across the screen. You're telling me back in the day when you had your Game Boy, you didn't have the magnifying glass for your Game Boy, so that way it like zoomed in on the screen for you? What's the last preset for next race? It is going to be Chimera. Oh yeah, we love our 6 ways here. Yeah, with the built-in light. Yup. You'll join in. Sounds good. The other player who I think has a decent shot of doing well here is actually Durdrak. Durdrak has been the front runner in many randomizer tournaments as well as this one. He is currently the -- 1 seed going into this race, has the most points, but not by a lot. The top 5 players for this tournament so far they're all within a couple of points from each other, so. Do I participate in tournaments? If there were tournaments where I could enter, I would. In fact, I entered the Tidbit 2 tournament, last month? So I've entered tournaments recently. Nintendo hardware mentioned Nintendo is drafting a lawsuit. No! Please, Nintendo, don't sue me. I'm sorry that I referenced your IP without your permission. Yeah, I think Durdrak just might be probably the strongest randomizer player, just generally. Granted, we throw tournaments not because we assume somebody's going to win, but we do it to test players at the end of the day. This is a test. Testing of skills, testing of reaction times, testing of decision making. And honestly, it's a treat every time to see these top level players moving. I'm very happy to see that this is a preset that has so many different movement options. We're seeing all of these players utilizing like wing smashes, the mist transformation, the wolf transformation, and the wolf run to its fullest potential. Like we're already seeing Durdrak here in the actually messing up the spike breaker room. Very uncharacteristic, I would say. Durdrak, well known for his ability to get through the dark spike breaker room with pretty much anything. Any combination of items and relics, Durdrak has a strat. But Durdrak does make it through and is going to be checking the gold ring here. So looking at everybody's loadouts, Ren is the first to have both gold and silver ring and check the associated location, holy glasses. My guess is that holy glasses are vanilla, right? Or is it going to be Jewel of Open here, maybe? It's possible. There's a couple of different things it can be, but I'm fairly confident that Ren is about to find the next progression item. Because the way the randomizer works is that you are guaranteed to have progression that doesn't soft lock you. So, and I think they've checked pretty much all the other important progression locations. Is this just going to be Holy Glasses? It is. Okay, so Holy Glasses is not randomized. It's vanilla location, which means the next progression relic is in the second castle, most likely. That's the way these randomizers tend to work, is once you find a important item, the next important item is going to be locked behind the important item that you just found. So we'll see what Ren decides to do with this information. Probably clean up a few bosses before heading to the second castle would be my guess. Unless Jewel of Open is still in the first castle somewhere, which will unlock more stuff for these players. Because the warps are all open, these players don't necessarily need Jewel of Open for access to the caverns, for example. Like they can just use the warp system to get down there instead. But what is required is going to be using the Jewel of Open to get to Silver Ring. The Silver Ring location is locked behind a blue door that requires the Jewel of Open.
You steal men's souls,
so I imagine these players are going to be trying to get Jewel of Open as soon as possible so they can check the Silver Ring location. My guess is that's probably where the final familiar card is lying. Probably the most advanced, complex familiar card. The solution to the seed, if you will. So we'll see how that goes. Also, I want to say thank you, Gold Bludgeon, for the tier 1 sub. Much appreciated. Remember, kids, you can get a free toy in the box at Medussi.com, not paid chatter. I don't think that's true. You can go to Medussi.com and see what's there, but I can't guarantee that you'll get a free Happy Meal toy. I can't guarantee it. So Crazy Four Blades, I think, is the first person to enter the second castle with the Holy Glasses the intended way. So Crazy Four Blades is back and better than ever, some might say, and is going to be exploring, looking for probably the Jewel of Open, is my guess. Another thing that's really important to point out is this preset has the modified version of the library card, the reverse library cards. This gives you the option to both warp directly to the library or to hold down and then press the button, and that'll warp you to the reverse library instead. So we'll see if any of these players opt to use that functionality at all to maybe help out their routing decisions. But my eyes are locked in the top left-hand corner to see what Crazy Four Blades is up to. And the other thing that I wanted to point out for this match in particular is, let me make sure I got this set up properly, because I'm trying to remember who has the most to gain here. Because this is the Rampage. So as of right now, the players who have the most to gain as far as points goes, Ren got first place already in the previous Rampage race, which means Ren could defend his point total by getting first place again, or other players can get better placements and try and earn some extra points that way. Long story short, Crazy Four Blades has at least 1 point that he could earn if he wins this race. Classic Advent has 1 or 2 points available. Durjack has up to 3 points available. Scrimps has up to 4 points available, but I don't think Scrimps is in this race. So Alex also has up to 8 points available to earn here as well, because Alex, I believe, didn't end up finishing the Rampage seed from before. So also, the Mad Doctor 96, almost 69 if you think about it. Very nice. Thank you for the Prime sub. Primer's rising up. Varda's a keeper? Oh, for sure. Ring of Varda's best equipment item in the game outside of Duplicator. Just plus 30 to like every stat. It's ridiculous. Jewel in second castle, then Merman in Silver Ring go to the Holy J location for final card. Possible, yeah. That is possible. I actually don't know what the complexity number is for this preset off the top of my head. I think it's 8. So that would make sense in my mind. We have Power of Mist acquired by Crazy Four Blades, killing Akmadon as well. I imagine... yeah, Ren is probably on his way to the second castle. Durdrack finding Holy Glasses. Classic Advent about to find Holy Glasses. So it seems like the progression in the first castle is somewhat gated behind going back to the second castle, funny enough. So players who have already done a decent amount of second castle progress are probably looking pretty good here. Someone like Durdrack, we saw Durdrack kill quite a few bosses already. But Crazy Four Blades has all the movement options and is moving pretty well, and is already in the second castle. So the top left-hand corner here, Crazy Four Blades, seems to be possibly the front runner, but it's always hard to tell because it depends on what items you have, how many library cards do you have, which bosses have you killed, etc., etc. But as of right now, I think Crazy Four Blades in the top left-hand corner is doing incredibly well. And now is in the reverse mines. We yearn for the mines, folks. And is going up, which means Crazy Four Blades is probably going to be the first to fight Galamoth, but thankfully, he decided to wait to fight Galamoth, didn't fight him right away, because he has the Chrysogram in his inventory. That means the fight is going to go by so much faster. Galamoth, well known for having the most amount of health in the entire game. So you want to wait to fight Galamoth once you already have a decent amount of damage. Oh, but you know what I just realized? Crazy is missing a lot of the familiar cards. But you know who isn't missing familiar cards? Ren. Ren already has 4 familiar cards? So technically, Ren is in the lead overall. And you know what else who has a bunch of familiar cards is Classic Advent. Classic Advent also has 4. So I think there was 4 total in the first castle? Is that what I'm looking at here? Because I remember somebody picked up a familiar card that said flying zombie was one of the drops. So that actually makes Crazy Four Blade's route a little bit tough here because he's going to have to come back to the first castle to find that familiar card and then go back to the second castle again to get the familiar card to drop the Vlad relic. Yeah, so both Advent and Ren with 4 familiar cards, the most familiar cards out of everybody. This is a pretty big advantage. This means that they can stay in the second castle and collect all the Vlad relics that they need except for one. And this means that once they find the last Vlad relic, it should be pretty quick. Yeah, Ren picks up the Ring of Vlad here from the flying zombies. Ooh. Oh, but Merman statue was found as well behind Galamoth. That could come up. It very much could come up. Alex as well. Yes, Alex also with 4 familiar cards. Thank you guys for pointing that out for me. This is why I have the players put their trackers on the screen, so that way I can... It helps keep track of everything, obviously. Yeah, Crazy Four Blades, I don't think is in a bad spot because of the library cards. You can go back and forth between the castles pretty easily in this preset, so it's not that big of a commitment to go to the second castle for a little bit. Yeah, and Crazy Four Blades also opts to use the reverse library card to get to the other side of the castle. Renan with the clean mobility. That's true. These players are some of the best Symphony of the Night players in the world. They play this game all the time. All sorts of different ways. Durdrak, I believe, is the first to find the Jewel of Open. It was behind Death the entire time, and Death is right next to a warp. And since all the warp locations are open and available for these players, it shouldn't be too hard to find. Should not be too hard to find. Jewel cannot be in a Holy J location. That is correct. Yes. The way the randomizer works is that it essentially will never lock a progression relic behind its own requirements. So, for example, if there's a location that requires the Form of Mist, you'll never find Form of Mist behind one of those locations. So, like, Soul of Bat needs Form of Mist, and Silver Ring needs Form of Mist. Those 2 locations, you'll never find Mist in that location, because then it would be impossible. Durdrak makes quick work of Doppelganger 40. Fun fact about Doppelganger 40, this game has a fun little coding error. So as soon as you kill Doppelganger 40, the game also considers Doppelganger 10 dead. So as long as you kill at least Doppelganger 40, you're in the clear for Doppelganger 10. So these players oftentimes will just never fight Doppelganger 10, even though it's an all bosses requirement preset. Because as soon as you kill Doppelganger 40, Doppelganger 10, also dead. God, we love Symphony of the Night. A perfect video game with no flaws. Yep. Free of bugs and flaws. Exactly, Riddick. Exactly. God, I love coffee. You guys ever drink coffee? Shit's great. Durdrak using a library card. I didn't see if it was a reverse library card or a regular one. Let's find out. And Durdrak warps to the regular library. I wonder why. Already, I guess because Jewel of Open and Spikebreaker? So Durdrak is thinking, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go to Silver Ring as soon as I can. Yeah, Durdrak checking out the save room just to refill on MP. So I think Durdrak is thinking to himself, you know what, I just need to find the familiar cards. I know one of the familiar cards has to be in the like most complex location. And for this seed, it seems like Silver Ring is the location that is guarded by the most relics here. Remember, in logic, the game assumes that you have Form of Mist, Spikebreaker, and Jewel of Open to get to the Silver Ring location. So Durdrak found all those relics and thinks, you know what, Silver Ring's probably next up. The only downside, however, is Durdrak could be getting baited here because we know that Merman statue is also on the same layer. It's in a similarly complex location as the Jewel of Open. So with that in mind, Durdrak might find nothing here, which would send him back quite a bit. This is chaos. I will say, I even struggle to keep track of what's going on sometimes, and I'm probably one of the few players in the world with over 10,000 hours playing this game. I do my best to try and follow along. It is a lot of fun, especially at the end, I will say. once we get to see these players' routes all spread out, go different locations, try different places, try different ideas, and then they all kind of converge together near the end of the game, and we get to see whose route actually was the best. It's a lot of fun. So Durdrak right now is where my eyes are currently, because Durdrak is going to be the first to check the Silver Ring location because he has that Form of Mist and the Jewel of Open and that Spike Breaker. In his mind, he's thinking this has to be the next progression. The only downside, however, is it technically doesn't have to be, because we found Mermaid Statue earlier, and it's nothing! Oh my god! Durdrak is probably so mad! Oh, the odds of that from his perspective are so low. But we know, because we saw Crazy Four Blades find the Mermaid Statue in a similarly layered location. One way that you can think about the relic placements in a randomizer is what is guarding the location that I'm currently at. And one thing that's nice about the second castle is the second castle is completely open to you as soon as you have Holy Glasses. So every location in the second castle is equally as likely as another location to have an important item. So if you find multiple important items in the second castle, they are all equally likely to lead to the next important item. So because we saw Crazy Four Blades find Jewel of Open, which for these players basically points towards Silver Ring, and Mermaid Statue, which points towards the Holy Symbol location. Yeah, Jewel of Open, Spike Breaker, and Mermaid Statue all being in the same layer, all within the second castle, means that any location unlocked by those relics are all equally likely to be important. But because Durdrak decided to do kind of part of the second castle and then go back to the first castle early, Durdrak didn't get the information from finding the Mermaid Statue. But you know who did get that information? Crazy Four Blades, who is now using their library card and is probably going to be checking all of those locations that just got unlocked. So we'll see how this plays out. Yeah, with all this information in mind, the players who I think are doing the best right now is Renan, obviously, because he has 4 Vlad relics and 4 familiar cards, is about to find the Mermaid Statue, which in our mind, in our eyes, I think unlocks the final Vlad relic. I think it has to. So Ren is doing very, very well for himself. And you know who's not far behind? Classic Advent. Classic Advent also has all the same familiar cards. Is missing a few Vlad relics, but is on his way to performing well here as well. Yeah, welcome in, everybody. This is definitely probably one of the most complex ways to get introduced to the Symphony of the Night randomizer and the various ways that we have been racing it over the last couple of years. If you're coming in from the Twitch front page, welcome in, welcome in. I'm very excited to showcase this. These are part of the open qualifying races for the tournament that I'm hosting. There is going to be some 1v1 matches, hopefully later today. So if following 6 different screens is too much, don't worry. We'll have some 1v1 matches, hopefully, later today. It was probably one of the only times I've clicked on the Twitch front page. Classic Advent? Oh, what did he do? Wait, why doesn't he have Mermaid Statue? Did he warp out because he messed up the boss fight? Yeah, he was at Galamoth. He didn't kill Galamoth. I think he messed up the boss fight and said, you know what, I haven't saved in a while. I'm just going to use my library card to get out of here instead of forcing myself into a terrible situation. That's brutal. Wow. Honestly, I respect the play because it keeps you alive, and that boss fight is very tricky if you mess it up. And dying there, you lose all of your progress. So, especially if he hasn't saved in a while. I respect the play, and in his mind, it makes sense because he's like, you know what, I have Jewel of Open, I have Spike Breaker, Silver Ring is on the table. He probably thinks to himself, whatever, I can just do Silver Ring and get that out of the way and then go back to the second castle to clean it up. The only problem is, yeah, I think Classic Advent is on his way to Silver Ring right now. He's unfortunately going to get punished for doing that. In like most seeds, 99% of seeds, I want to say, if you have access to Silver Ring, you want to go there. Silver Ring is one of those locations that is locked by multiple important items. So on average, it's one of the most important locations to check early, but it is a randomizer. At the end of the day, it's not guaranteed to have anything important. So multiple players are getting messed up by this. Crazy Four Blades also opts to check this first because he knows this is an important location most of the time. Odds are this is going to be important. We saw Durdrak get baited by it as well. Most players seem to be getting baited by this location. It's only the players who already have the mermaid statue in their inventory who are going to be okay for this, right? And that's one of the strategies that I kind of thought would do well in these prelim matches is players who play it a little bit more safe, who don't go too aggressive with their decision making, because you never know exactly what type of route you're going to have to do. So doing a lot of checks and doing them efficiently oftentimes just ends up helping you place well. It might not win you the race, but these are open qualifiers. You just want to win. Obviously winning is great, but you want to place as well as you can because higher placements equals more points in the long run. So I will say, if you are watching, just to clarify, you have to have the familiar card in order to get the ability later on. Yes, you cannot have the item drop randomly unless you already acquire the familiar card. So, for example, if you find the Tooth card, you know the Tooth of Vlad drops from a bat. You can't just kill bats before finding the card and having it drop randomly. Once you find the card, it unlocks the ability for the relic to drop. It prevents random situations where you just like stumble upon Vlad relics early. Yeah, this is probably one of the most complex versions of the Symphony of the Night randomizer. We've been playing the randomizer competitively now since 2019, so obviously it's evolved up to this point. I will say, if you want to just be interested in, if you're just interested in Symphony of the Night and want new ways to play the game, I definitely recommend checking out the randomizer. SotN.io is the website for the randomizer. There's way more simple versions of the randomizer, things that just change like item drops and relic placements, but like the actual mechanics of the game stay the same. I recommend checking it out, especially if you want a new way to play the game. My recommendation is playing something like Safe Logic or OG Logic. That's based off of the first ever randomizer. It's very simple. It moves some stuff around, but progression items, for example, stay the same. So Silver Ring, Gold Ring, Holy Glasses, stuff like that. It'll feel like a new experience without it being too overwhelming. These players are obviously adept Symphony of the Night randomizer players. They are well aware of all of the different quirks and logical differences between this game and the randomizer, or sorry, the original game and the randomizer that they're playing. So if you're just watching this and you're more of like a casual Symphony of the Night fan and this seems a little overwhelming, don't worry, it definitely is. But these players know what they're doing. Konami needs to put this on Steam. You're telling me, brother. You're telling me. You're telling me. Casual or adventure if you want a long sesh, yeah. Yeah. And if you've never seen the randomizer before, let me tell you, there are so many options. It's a program. It's a little bit of software that's been worked on nonstop since 2019. So 6 years, almost 7 years of development. A lot of cool stuff has happened since then. A lot of stuff has happened since then. So it looks like two players who are doing well for themselves progression-wise. We have Ren here in the middle right-hand side, using that merman statue, waiting for this spot to move. Same with Crazy Four Blades, riding the boat. Both of them are going to be checking this location here soon enough. It looks like Crazy will be the first to check it, but is still missing some Vlad relics, and it is a familiar card. Checks it out. It is Salem Witch. Chat, do you know which enemy is the Salem Witch? That is another thing that's important to note. You get the name of the enemy, but do you know which enemy it is? Because I'm going to be honest, I forget which one's Salem Witch all the time. I believe Salem Witch is the one that's in the reverse caverns, and Salem is the one that's in in the regular caverns, but I could be wrong. I think. I don't know. Because there's a lot of enemies in this game that share similar names. You have Salem and Salem Witch, which are two different enemies. You have, oh God, why am I blanking? You have Skull, you have Giant Skull, and you have Ghost Skull, and you have Ghost. Those 4 enemies I get mixed up sometimes. Salem is the one in the reverse catacombs only. So Salem Witch is the one that's in the regular castle, and Ren does know the difference. Ren finds the Salem and gets the relic drop. That's all 5 Vlad relics. And is that all the boss is done too? Holy, is Ren in go mode? I look away for 2 seconds. Yeah, he has killed all the bosses and he has all the Vlad relics already in his inventory. I look away for 2 seconds. When did he do Beelzebub? Damn. Damn, Ren is killing it. This seems to be Ren's preset. He's done very well for himself, both races, using this preset. For those wondering, this is the beginning from the Vampire Survivors Ode to Castlevania soundtrack, for those wondering what's playing right now in the background. The Ode to Castlevania DLC in Vampire Survivors, the soundtrack specifically is freaking Kino. It's peak. It's awesome. I've been listening to it a lot on stream, and I've been loving it. Yeah, Ren's in go mode, uses the warp, is just a few rooms away from beating the game, and Crazy Four Blades has all the familiar cards but is missing the actual Vlad relics themselves, but is in a good position to finish soon enough. Honestly, I wish I had paid more attention to Ren's routing. He seemed to be the only person to take advantage of the early warp in the second castle at the start of the run, and I think him utilizing the warps in the second castle early was very, very integral to both killing a lot of bosses early, as well as checking for familiar cards, etc., etc. And his movement was very clean this time around. Very clean. It looks like Crazy Four Blades getting second again. Yeah. I think Crazy Four Blades, funny enough, has gotten second, third, or fourth in every race that he has entered so far. But because of his consistent placements, he's still in the top 5 for the final bracket, most likely. And he might even win out and get first place. It's technically possible. I think if he wins this next race, he might give himself enough points to win out. It's possible. How does the reverse library card work? The reverse library card is a particular modified version of the library card that exists in this preset. Not every single randomizer preset has it, but essentially it has an additional symbol next to it so that you know it's a reverse library card, where if you press down, hold it down on the D-pad, and then use the button to use the library card, instead of sending you to the normal library, it sends you to the reverse library. You know, something that makes sense that probably should have existed in the normal game. Just a nice quality of life feature to help players route more efficiently. This is a preset that's all about having an open routing possibility. You know, the warps are open, the stuff like that. Yeah, Crazy Four Blades, by the way, here in the top left-hand corner, found all the Vlad relics, routed it very quickly. His last boss was Beelzebub, and his last Vlad relic was the Salem Witch, which is pretty nice to have those comboed right next to each other. But nonetheless, GG's to Ren, finishing first place here today in the first preliminary race. 48 minutes to beat the game, kill all of the bosses. Very, very fast seed, if you ask me. And with that, let's go ahead and set up for... Here we go. Blammo. So now we have 5 racers remaining, and Crazy Four Blades waiting for that clock room to open for him. GG's to Ren, as always. Yeah, this is going to be a fun tournament. The top players are definitely pulling out all the stops, and I do want to say as well, the rules for this tournament are definitely a little bit unconventional. These players are not used to being forced into second castle random location starts and routing accordingly along that. Like, we saw these players all take different routes, all decide different things are faster, different things are better for one reason or another. But there's still getting close to similar end times here. So it goes to show that they're trying their best out here, and they are doing well. No one going to steal my points. Yep. Hey, you got to defend your title. You got to defend your title as the first place Rampage player. And Crazy Four Blades yet again. Making his way to Dracula, using the Chrysogram. I imagine there's no way that he dies here. Yeah, I think he had double Varda plus Chrysogram. Finishes 2 minutes, almost exactly, behind Ren here. Second place time. Congratulations. And with that, I think who's next up? Is it Durdrak? Because Durdrak needs to kill Beelzebub. Oh, he gets the Ring of Vlad really quick because he was missing that. And then he just has to kill Beelzebub, and then he is in go mode. Meanwhile, Classic Advent is missing the Rib of Vlad, and it's also on his way to Beelzebub. Hold on, this is a close race. I think, funny enough, Classic Advent, if the Rib is the relic that's behind the Salem Witch, then he's in a really good spot. Or is the Rib the one that's locked behind... Is he checking right now? Oh, he's using his library card. Okay. I forget which relic is the one that you need. It's the regular library card. Rib is Salem Witch. But does he have the card for it? He's missing the card! Oh, because he warped out after killing Galamoth. He never had the merman statue. Dude. Oh. Classic. If he had the merman statue in his inventory, he would have been in go mode. You're so right. I forgot that he had to warp out from the Galamoth fight. Dang. And that one little mistake is costing him a potential placement here. And it looks like Durdrak is fully in go mode here and is on his way to the end here. Double Chrysogram is more than enough here. Says, screw it, I'll put on the Ring of Ares too. Give me that extra damage. Wow. A very interesting race, I will say. Very interesting. We do have another race that will be happening in a little bit, probably about an hour from now, which means that gives these players time to finish up, as well as I will likely boot up for some world record attempts in the meantime. I remember buying a PSP just to play the remaster of this game back in the day. Me too. Me too. It was fun to play this game portably. And now you can play it on your phone with a touchscreen. Isn't that fun? Haha. God, I love playing a 2D platformer with touchscreen controls. And Durdrak finishing up just in time to hear that sub notification. Thank you very much, Brando, for the 45 months. Jeez. My goat. Speaking of goats, there is Durdrak's time. Third place, 53 minutes in. And now I think we got a pretty clear advantage here for Classic Advent. On his way to finding the final familiar card, which will then unlock the access to the final relic as well. So we'll see how he routes this out. Reminder, Classic Advent, a literal world record holder, top-level speedrunner as well. And I believe this is his first time entering a randomizer tournament for this game. I think he's not too familiar with the randomizer, so it is always nice to see someone who's a very seasoned speedrunner try their hand at seeing how they can play through the game fast when everything's all shuffled up and randomized. Similar skills, but they are a little bit different. Alex isn't too far behind. You are correct. Alex isn't too far behind at all. Is missing 2 bosses and 2 Vlad relics. And everyone's favorite relic check. Got to wait for the boatman to open the door. Gets access to the rib card. And it is the Salem Witch. I imagine Classic Advent is probably a little bit peeved at that one. But, like, at the end of the day, I think Advent made the correct call to use the library card early to save themselves from just dying to Galamoth. Because I've seen many players fight Galamoth, mess up the infinite combo on Galamoth, and then just die. So, for example, we have Alex setting up that combo. Speaking of, this is a great showcase. All you have to do is wait for Galamoth to turn around, and if you start slashing his head here while standing up on this ledge, as long as you don't mess up the timing, it is guaranteed that Galamoth stays stun locked here. So as long as you can keep the rhythm up, he will just stand here forever and just keep taking damage. This is what Classic Advent attempted to do earlier, messed it up ever so slightly, and forced him into a situation where he kind of had to bail. Because killing Galamoth, sometimes it just, without this cheese strat, becomes very, very difficult. And sometimes it's very slow, and sometimes it just puts you at risk of just dying. So... But yeah, Alex, that's not the final boss kill. Oh, but Alex doesn't have... You know how I was talking about players getting baited by the Silver Ring location? Alex does not have the merman statue in his inventory. That was locked behind Galamoth. And yet again, we see... I'm telling you, Silver Ring is one of those locations where as soon as you have access to it, players are like, I'm dropping everything and I'm going to Silver Ring. And most of the time it works out. It's like math-wise, it just makes sense. But something about this seed in particular completely broke everybody's brains. I think everybody got baited by it at least once. Y'all like my stupid route? Hey, it got second place, Crazy. Congratulations, by the way. Hope you had fun this seed. Crazy, forever second place. See, you say that until the final bracket. Yeah, all planned, by the way. All it takes is a couple wins in the actual bracket. And those second places don't look too silly then. No, I think the clear difference was players who went for everything as much as they could versus the players who went Silver Ring early. I think anybody who went Silver Ring early without Merman statue, like we're seeing happen to Alex here in the bottom right-hand corner. Alex is just, what's it called? Tunnel visioning that Silver Ring has to be the final Vlad relic, which again, most of the time it is in this kind of scenario, but how incredibly unfortunate that merman statue happens to be the final relic. Yeah, I think Alex is honestly confused. Is like, what the hell? Wait, how is this possible? But we'll see how this works out. Alex did kill Galamoth, yes, but didn't check the relic. Alex was completely convinced that he knew where the final relic was going to be, and in doing so, skipped the Galamoth relic check. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, the silver ring is just like mathematically the location you want to go to. Like these players are probably assuming, oh, silver ring has mermaid statue, then unlocks final Vlad. We're like, yeah, got it. But Alex, unfortunately, stumbled upon the rare scenario where that's not the case. But there it is. Classic Advent. GG's for the W here. Ren is number 1 seed now? I don't believe so. Because Ren doesn't actually change his placements for Rampage. The way that the placements work is that every preset is played twice, and we take your best placement per preset, and those are the points that you earn. So because Ren got first place in both Rampage races, his best placement is first place. So he only gets the one total 8 points. But he does block other players from potentially earning additional points. The preset can change placements for Ren as Chimera, yes. Because, yeah, Chimera was the one that he didn't do particularly amazing on, if I remember correctly. I think this next race is going to determine a lot, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Chimera, Classic Advent won that one. Scrimps got second. Durdrak got third. Crazy Four Blades with fourth. And Ren with fifth. So Crazy Four Blades has a chance to earn some extra points here. Durdrak has a chance to earn some extra points here. Scrimps, if they join in, have a chance to earn 1 extra point here. And Classic Advent has a chance to block other players from earning points, as far as the top 5 go, because those are the top 5 players so far in this tournament. Classic Advent, Scrimps, Durdrak, Crazy Four Blades, and Ren. So a lot can happen in this next race. But regardless, it looks like Alex has figured out where he was missing his relic. And honestly, I think SotN is on pace to finish this time around, which is actually nice, considering this, I think, is SotN's first randomizer tournament ever. We've seen him struggle a couple of times throughout these prelim races, and I think this is going to be his first finish time as well. Oh, but Alex gets absolutely comboed. 5 HP left. Oh my god. If Alex had died there, oh, that would have been so brutal. Holy. So close. Also, by the way, I did miss a few subs here. I think I already said thank you to Brando for the 6 months at Tier 1. For 45 months total. Thank you. And Unknown Anime with the Prime sub. Thank you, Primers. Subscribing with Prime is a free way to help your boy out. Alex, no! Don't you remember? Galamoth has a relic. Oh, no. Is he scrambling? He's trying to figure out which relic he missed. Oh, no. Dude. It could be the tournament nerves. It could be, I don't know at this point. That's crazy. It happens to the best of us. It honestly does. I think this is just a moment of, you're thinking to yourself, I need to finish this race. I don't want SotN to try and snipe me here and earn some extra points over me. Could just be a brain fart. It happens to the best of us. If you guys have watched me play the randomizer, God knows I've made very silly mistakes many a times. I mean, I've played thousands of randomizer seeds at this point. I've played thousands of randomizer seeds, and you guys have definitely seen me make questionable decisions. Sometimes you overthink it. Because Alex, I know, checked earlier and saw that I think it said that they had skipped the Merman statue location. So Alex might have it in his brain that it has to be Merman statue. But for whatever reason, Alex isn't realizing. I think it's because they killed Galamoth. I think it's because Alex had killed Galamoth. He's thinking to himself, I don't need to check the Galamoth relic. I already killed Galamoth. But he's forgetting that he library carded early out of there. Oh, man. I've just been trying to learn the exploits and sequence breaks to play the normal game slightly faster. Fun fact, Flame Crow, that's how I started as a speedrunner, is I saw other players way back in the day. This is in like 2012. I've been speedrunning this game a long time. But there was YouTube videos of like tool assisted speedruns or like other things of like high level play that I was completely unaware of when I had just been playing the game casually for a long time. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that you could skip into this location by doing this, and this lets you do this. And like, oh, I didn't even know wing smashing was a thing. Like, that's so cool that you can move so fast with the bat. And then slowly but surely, I added all of these like skips and like things to my like repertoire of knowledge of the game that eventually I said, you know what? I wonder if I could just put it all together and see how fast I can beat the game. And the first time I tried to do that, it took me like an hour to beat the game. And I was very confused, much like Alex is, how players are able to beat the game faster than that. Alex is looking really confused. Luciano, by the way, thank you very much for the sub, that tier 1 sub. It is greatly appreciated. Yeah, Alex is getting a little boned right now. I think Alex is very confused where the final relic can be.
And make them your slaves.
But I think if Alex opens up the tracker, opens up the map and sees that there is a missing relic at Galamoth. Yes, he does. He sees it. He should see that there's a missing relic at Galamoth, and he's going to feel a little silly, but it's beatable. He just has to see the green square on his map. There it is. And Brando, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, by the way. Thank you all so much for being here, for watching, and enjoying some Symphony of the Night randomizer race action. Reminder, we do have another race coming up in about 45 minutes. It'll be the final preliminary race before we can start bracket matches. And I will try and convene with the players to see if we can schedule one of those as soon as the bracket is ready. That would be ideal. So that way we can get some fun one-on-one tournament bracket action. It'll be a double elimination bracket created based off of the placements of these players. It should be a good time. Should be a good time. Yeah, for those that are still wondering what's going on, this is the Symphony of the Night randomizer. You can find more information at SotN, SOTN.io. That is the randomizer website where you too can play the randomizer if you would like to, as well as learn more about it. There's a bunch of different preset randomization options. This particular preset is called Rampage. The way that you play the game is the win condition is killing all of the bosses, as well as finding all of the Vlad relics. All 5 Vlad relics unlock the final door to fight Shaft and Dracula and beat the game. But in order to find those Vlad relics, those relics are locked behind enemy drops, and those enemy drops are unveiled to you once you find the familiar cards. So it's kind of like a little bit of a fetch quest. You find the familiar cards, which tells you where the enemy is, which enemy drops the Vlad relic, and then you go kill the enemy to get the Vlad relic, and then you take the Vlad relics, get to the end of the game, fight Dracula, beat the game. Vinny, thank you very much for the 2 months. Much appreciated. So this is one of those presets that has a lot going on in it. The next one coming up should be a little bit simpler to follow, which should be fun as well. So we have 5 different presets available in this tournament. I wanted to give players multiple options to choose from, especially in the final bracket. The way that the bracket matches work is it's based off of a strike and pick system, similar to if you've ever seen like a Super Smash Brothers tournament, how they handle stage picking. This tournament works very similarly, but instead of picking stages, you're picking different randomizer preset options. So biggest win con of all is not forgetting anything. Sometimes just having the wherewithal to not forget an important location. It's happened to us all. I'll be honest. I've played this game thousands of times. I've randomized it all sorts of different ways. And every once in a while, I'll just be like, wait, have I done this check yet? Have I been to Silver Ring yet? I don't know. Have I been to Mermaid Statue yet? I think I did. What happens? So the players can ban presets? Yes. So we're doing best of 3 matches with 5 different presets available. So each player will get to ban at least 1 preset. So, for example, if you're not a big fan of Rampage, you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's too much to keep track of. There's familiar cards, there's bosses, there's enemies, there's Vlad relics. You could just ban it. You could say, you know what? I'm banning Rampage. I don't want to deal with it. And then your opponent has the same option as well to say, you know what? I don't want to deal with Nimble Light, which is one of the presets available. I think the movement options are too much. I don't want to deal with it. They have a chance to ban that. And then you whittle it down, and then there's, presets to pick and ban from there. High seeds are fighting lower seeds first. Yes, that is the way that the seeding is working. So it's going to be a double elimination bracket. 8 people make it into the final bracket. First seed will go up against 8th seed, second seed versus 7th seed, and so on and so forth. So your placements in these prelim matches will determine your bracket location. Ideally, the way that it works is you want the higher seeds to play the lower seeds as a reward mechanism for the person who placed high seeding wise to have the advantage, because that was the whole point of the prelim matches, was to give you an advantage for playing well in the prelim matches. It doesn't guarantee that you're gonna win, but it's, to give you an advantage. And on average, the first place seed is going to perform better than like the 8th place seed. Granted, upsets can happen. It is a randomizer at the end of the day, so sometimes the placements of relics and items just happens to go your way. But it is best of 3, so you'd have to upset them 2 out of 3 times. So again, it's possible, but not impossible. And also the bracket is double elimination, so it will eliminate some of the variants as well around that. So on average, I imagine the better player should be winning in this type of environment, but it is a randomizer. There is variance. You have to play to your outs, and it's kind of like a cool mix between like the skill and execution of like fighting games, for example, and like some of the RNG and luck aspect of like card games, where it's like, okay, this play has like a blank % chance of working out. Like, for example, if you know that you're missing 1 Vlad relic and it's the only thing you need to beat the game, and there's 4 locations that are all equally likely to have that Vlad relic, you can then tell yourself, I can skip 1 location. That's a 25% chance that I miss out on it, but I can check all the other 3, which means I have a 75% chance of winning faster than my opponent, et cetera, by skipping the 1 location that they might not skip. And that's where mind games also come in, where you ask yourself, is this opponent that I'm playing someone who is likely to skip this location? If so, should I skip it too to guarantee that they don't get an advantage over me? And then you could double bluff that and be like, well, normally I skip these locations, but this time I'm not going to skip it, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot of fun. The 1v1 matches is probably where I think the Symphony of the Night randomizer definitely shines. These prelim matches are fun, though. It is unfortunate that Alex struggled the way that he did, but he is on the path to finishing here. And honestly, so is Sestrin. Sestrin's not too far behind. Sestrin only has 3 bosses left and 1 Vlad relic left, so we'll see how he decides to go from here. If he gets baited by Silver Ring 2, I am going to laugh, because it looks like Sestrin is leaving. Oh, but he's thinking to himself, I'm not going to forget Galamoth this time. We did see a seed where Sestrin forgot Galamoth here. So I'd be happy to see Sestrin actually finish up this time.
I'll suck you dry.
I'm coming.
Rhinesguard, thank you very much for the 10 gifted sub. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If I knew the game better, these unique game modes would be amazing. I want to try Adventure. Honestly, you could just try it. Like, you don't have to finish a seed when you play the randomizer. You still get experience just trying it out, One of the things that, for example, there's a different randomizer that I'm a big fan of that I'm not nearly as good at the game at, is Super Metroid. Super Metroid Map Randomizer is one of my favorite randomizers because Super Metroid is just one of my favorite games. I'm not nearly as good as like top level speedrunners and rando players in Super Metroid, but it's still a fun little hobby of mine. And there's so many times where I would start up a rando seed and be like, I can't finish this. This is outside of my skill range. I'm in over my head. I'm just going to say, you know what? I tried my best and we'll try another one. But I still get experience even though I'm not finishing the seed. The same can happen for anybody. So you can tell yourself, oh, I want to try this new game mode, but I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. You can just try it out, see what happens. Worst case scenario, you're like, yeah, that was a little too difficult. I'm not going to finish it. whatever. You still got some experience. How's front page of Twitch going? It's been great. We've had a couple people come in and ask some really good questions and seem excited about the format and the tournament. It's been great. Everybody's been really nice. Yeah, Ritual of the Night randomizer is that's something else. That's a whole different beast, for sure. How's it going, Rapu? Hope you've been well. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Here we go. Alex finally making his way to the end here. After the little bit of the Galamoth snafu, if you will. But I'm happy he was able to keep it together, keep his composure, didn't tilt too hard, and said, you know what, I can finish this. It's doable. Oh, his best weapon that he has is Alucard's sword, interestingly enough. Oh, Yasasuna instead. Never mind. Yasasuna's great. Oh, Sestrin fighting Galamoth here, but has to be careful. You need Galamoth to turn around for this infinite combo to actually work. So the problem with doing this fight this way is technically there is a random chance that Galamoth breaks out of the infinite to do his ball attack where he holds the staff above his head and then spawns balls like this. Sestrin, you have Mist and Power of Mist. Reminder, it makes you fully invincible. He's going to use Mana Prisms instead for invincibility. Does he have anything else for iframes? High Potion? You have High Potion? Okay. You could just out DPS it. It's possible. He has to put the GG's for Alex, by the way. Congratulations on the finish. But I do want to see Sestrin please survive this. He's been working so hard to actually finish these randomizers for these tournament matches. I would love to see him get a clear here. It all is going to come down to whether or not he can finish Galamoth here. But he's unfortunately takes too much damage there. And I think that might be GG's. He has missed, I know. I think Sestrin is just not, he doesn't have the same muscle memory, the same quick thinking in that moment. It could be the nerves, it could be a lot of things. Yeah, and that looks like a lot of time lost there. So close. Yeah, he's still learning the randomizer, for sure. He is a speedrunner, but the randomizer is in and of itself its own beast, so... Again, keeps getting closer and closer, and it goes to show that the reason I put these events on is for the community, to give people a reason to join races, to communicate, to ask questions, all of these things. Yeah, he's an 90% runner, exactly. You don't get Power of Mist in any percent, so it might just be one of those things that you don't think about. Yeah, it's all about having fun and giving the community a chance to come together and have fun and talk about the randomizer, talk about the game, you know? Showcase your skills, showcase the game that we all know and love. So at the end of the day, I'm always happy, regardless of skill level, when people enter the tournaments and just try and have a good time. So that was a lot of fun. We're going to have the next match coming up very soon, but if you're watching on YouTube, that'll be the end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Join the live streams on twitch.tv/DragonBlitz. I'd love to see you in the chat sometime. And have a good one, YouTube. Have a good one. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye.